Hi there. What I want to do now is to do a one-step equation review, which actually should cover up everything that we've done in this section. What I suggest you do is if you printed this off, just stop right now, turn off the video for a little bit, and do the questions. See how far you can get, and then turn it back on and check. Okay, hopefully you did that. First thing I'm going to do is what I've been doing all along. So I'm going to take my handy dandy highlighter and I'm going to highlight all my variables so I remember what I am trying to get by itself. There's two ways to approach this. If you want, you certainly can do each question going across and doing your thing. I don't find that the most effective method. What I tend to do is I will do groups of questions. And I will do all the addition questions or all the division questions or all the multiplication questions so that I'm not having to flip in my brain, what do I do this time? What do I do this time? What do I do this time? If you pick all, say, the division questions to do at once, and I'm saying that because division is our first one, then you just have to remember what to do for a division question, scan until you find the next one, and you keep doing the same thing. It's kind of like if you're making some sandwiches. Most people, if you have to make a dozen sandwiches, aren't going to take the bread and butter it and put the meat in and whatever and make a sandwich and then get out the next 2 slices of bread. No, you're going to put out a whole bunch of bread. You're going to butter everything. You're going to put meat on it. Much more efficient. And that's what we're going for. So here we go. This first one is a division question. And so I'm going to underline that one. That one looks the same. And in this very first chunk, I don't see any other ones that look the same. Well, so we'll do those two together. So this means G, remember the line for a fraction means divided by 7. So the opposite of dividing by 5, is multiplying by 5. So I'm going to do the same thing to both sides of the equation. These cancel out because 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we get 1G there. But normally you don't bother writing the 1. And then you go 7 times 5 is 35. And that's it. And whether you have 1G is 35 or you go G is 35, doesn't matter to me. Same thing. And this is where it gets nice. Okay, same type of question. So I know y divided by 7 is minus 8. I'm going to multiply through by 7. Multiply through by 7. These will cancel. Remember to pay attention to your signs. A negative times a positive gives you a negative. Now, if I'm looking at this one, they're written right beside each other. So this is a multiplication. And so is this one. This one's not because the C and the 5 aren't together. I scan, here's one. And that looks like they're all there is. Okay, so I'm going to do all those now. This is 2 times A is 15. So the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. Got to do on both sides. Again, here, the reason we do that is 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. So we get A is 7.5. Here we got divide by 8, divide by 8. Now, this is a trick question. 4 divided by 8 is not 2. Your brain is going to want to say that, but it's not. 4 divided by 8 is actually 0.5, or half. And this last one here, I wrote it different just to make sure you guys remember that the number, the coefficient doesn't always have to come first. It normally does, but it doesn't have to. So we're going to divide by 9 on that side, so D is equal to 4. Remember, don't flip it around. There's no reason to do that, and it just confuses things. So first row is done. Now, if I look here, I got 15 as C plus 5. So this is an addition question. There's one, that's not, there's another one. So I'm going to do all 3 of those. So the opposite of 15 is equal to C plus 5 is minus 5 and minus 5. Or subtract them. 15 minus 5 is going to give me 10 is equal to C. Order, whether it's 6 plus x or x plus 6 doesn't matter. This is an understood plus there. So I'm going to subtract 6 to make it go away and subtract 6. So this will cancel. Now notice on these ones, when they cancel to 0, because for addition and subtraction, you need to turn things into 0 because that doesn't affect the size of the x. Just like over here, 1g is the same as just plain g. Well, x plus 0 is really just plain old x. X is 4. And I thought, oh, there's the other one. Subtract 7, subtract 7. So that disappears, it changes to 0. So e is equal to 3. Okay, oh, next question. B minus 6 is 10. In this first 3 rows, I don't have another subtract 6. So, oops, it's a subtraction question, but I'm going to add 6 because negative 6 plus 6, or sorry, subtract 6, add 6, however you want to think about it, means exactly the same thing. So that goes to 0. So B is equal to 16. Not really sure why that's a capital B. It doesn't matter. Whatever the symbol is, whatever variable it is, just write it the same way. There are certain equations, I want to say they're more in physics, where you have uppercase and lowercase and they do mean different things. So just stick with what you've got. All right, so what's next? We've got 15 is P divided by 8. Oh, that's okay. So, well, that's an easy one. That's a division question. But there's one, and there's one, and there's one. So the opposite of dividing by 8 is times 8. So I have to go times 8 on that side. And be lazy. 15 times 8 is 120. So 120 is equal to P. K divided by 0.02 is 16. So I'm going to do the opposite of dividing. So I'm going to multiply by 0.2 times 0.2. So K 16 times 0.2 is 3.3 1/5 or 3.2. And M divided by 4 is 10. So multiply by 4, multiply by 4. M is equal to 40. All right, so that's the first half of my equation, my thing. Some of you may really like the way I did that. Some of you might just be shaking your heads going, that's crazy. So I'm going to do the second half, doing each question individually, not looking for the patterns. And then you can decide whichever one makes you happier. All right, so I got 15 is equal to T minus 10. So this is a subtraction. You know that because basically you just look at the variable and see what's going on. So I'm going to add 10. I'm going to add 10. 15 plus 10 is 25 is equal to T. All right, we got 16 is equal to 9 plus W. I'm going to subtract 9, subtract 9. Remember, this plus belongs to the W, but it is an addition subtract question because this is a plus 9 in here. Anyway, you know that already. So 16 minus 9, that should give us 7, is equal to W. Now we've got 7D is equal to 28. And for the record, if you're wondering, whoops, that is exactly the same question, except for that mess I made out there. So whether those brackets are there or not, it still means multiplication. So we need to get rid of the 7. So the opposite of multiplying by 7 is dividing. So D is equal to 4. I forgot to say, if you haven't, after you did the first half, if you didn't turn off the video, turn off now. Because again, if you're staring at watching me do the questions, all you're doing is watching me do the questions. You're not really learning this stuff. You've got to do it yourself. All right, so we got R plus 9 is 5. The opposite of add 9 is subtract 9. So R, now we got to be careful. It's going to be 5 minus 9. So that's going to be minus 4. If that feels weird, let's do a check. So start with the original equation. Then we substitute. And we put in the negative 4 where the R is. Negative 4 plus 9 is equal to 5. Negative 4 plus 9 is 5 is equal to 5. So we're good. If you messed up on your sign and had a positive 4, then this side actually would have turned out to been 13, and then you know you made a mistake. Move up my paper here. So 3x is 0, so they're right beside each other, so that's multiplication, so division. So x is equal to 0. Use your calculator, or just think, if I have no money, and I divide among 3 of my best friends, they all get no money each. All right, -2 is equal to x plus 5. So my brain says, uh-oh, there's a negative there, pay attention. So this is plus 5, so I'm going to subtract 5, and I'm going to subtract 5. So -2 minus 5 more is -7 is equal to x. Oh, and here's another one that I wrote backwards just for practice. So if the t is first and then the 20, but there's nothing in between them, that's still multiplication. So divide by 20, divide by 20. T is going to be negative. It's going to be a small number. 2, whoops, that's not right. -3 divided by 20. -0.15. As long as the number on the top is smaller, you know this is going to be 0 point something or other. Just a hint, because some people will accidentally put it in backwards and go 20 divided by -3, and you get like 6.6. Just watch for it, so be careful. All right, so this question, I shouldn't have put in there. It's actually a trick question. This is one that I would definitely use cross multiplying for, because it's a 2-step equation. But I'm going to rewrite this a little bit. 2x, so we can do it now. So this, by moving that x up beside the 2, is exactly the same as this original one. So this means 2 times x is divided by 3 is 10. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that 3 on the bottom, because generally I just don't like fractions, and we know how to do that. So divide by 3. So we get 2x is equal to 30. And now we can see this part was a division. Now we have a multiplication. So we're going to divide by 2, and x is equal to 15. And that's the point of learning these ones really well, is so that when you do get a 2-step equation, it's like, oh, okay, no big deal. So x is equal to 15. All right, almost done. Divide by 0.3, divide by 0.3. I want to say that's 90, but you know what? I don't know. Let's double check it with a calculator. 30 divided by 0.3. Whoa, I was wrong. That's 100. Oopsies. That's why I use a calculator some days. Out of the way. This is a multiplication because the 5 and the d are beside each other. D is equal to 4. Excuse me. This one's another division question. Anytime it's a fraction line, that means division. So this is s divided by 10. So multiply by 10, multiply by 10. So 80. And these cancel out. Is equal to s. And the last one here is a multiplication. So divide by -12. Remember, divide by the negative. So x is equal to, I don't know, 15 divided by -12. -1 point. All right. Now, if these aren't just super easy at this point, you need to probably do some more practice. You could rewatch the videos, or just go online and find some practice worksheets. Go 1-step equations, or you can watch some more videos and just practice, practice, practice until you're good at this. If it's frustrating, come see me. Go see your instructor. They will help you with this. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.